as it was still raining outside, there was some commotion going on outside, and Aegon VI Targaryen and his best friend Edric Storm are prepared in case somebody tries to sneak into the tent. Do you hear that? Yeah, sounds like somebody's monkeying around outside. Where's the guards? Well, they're out there. Then suddenly Lillith comes in. Down, boys. I think you should know by now, the only ones that could get past the guards would be me. Well, you know, you're a little too quiet when you come into the tent. Well, I'll try to make more noise next time. So, were you successful in your mission? Yes. When she pulls out a wrapped, or lays down a wrapped, long, black-covered shaft, and there's two things in it. If she opens it up, the first one is all golden. This here is the Spear of Judgment. May I see it? Yes, it might be a bit heavy for you, though. This is what my brother, the many-faced god, has to handle. Wow, feels kind of heavy. Yes, well, it was made in ancient Valyria, the old free city, and unlike spears today, this Spear of Judgment can go through any known armor that could ever be made by those of this world. So, the next one we have here is the Staff of the Abyss. However, it will not function unless there is two specific jewels, as I had said. I possess one, which is the purple jewel. The many-faced god, though he's probably, like I said, doesn't make an issue of it or probably pulls it out all the time, holds the blue jewel. We have to put these in together once he has cast the Spear of Judgment into Valdar, the Vizier of old time, of old ancient Valyria. I see. So, until then, what do we do? Well, these will have to be put under heavy guard. No one is to use them or mess with them. They would cause a catastrophic event because it's not meant to be against common enemy. This is for someone like the Vizier only. I understand. Alright, well, Edric, find some of your best guards that are trustworthy and have them guard this. Under no circumstances is anyone to bring it out during battle. Understood. So he goes out to go find the two guards. So what's the plan now? Now that we have these, we should be able to defeat him, right? Yes, but only if the many-faced god senses that I am here. With the Spear of Judgment and the Staff of the Abyss together, and me wearing the purple jewel, as I now feel a slight vibration, he should feel the same, and eventually I believe he's going to want to seek this out, if he hasn't lost his senses. I would imagine that the many-faced god is just as sincere and true to heart as he has always been since the last time I saw him. So, we need to prepare for battle now, for the Stronghold fort of the Reach. Alright then, I'll go give the order for getting prepared. I hope the rain's let up a little bit, but if not, all the better for our victory. Very good then. And what will you be doing all this time? Oh, I have a few magical tricks up my sleeve. Should cause some distraction, and while it would, under normal circumstances, not be something where we would kill the enemy most likely would try to kill us. However, what I would be tossing would most certainly catch them on fire, even if it is raining. Ah, fire and brimstone? She kind of smiles, didn't say anything. Never mind, that's enough said there. So I'll get the troops ready for battle then. And so with that, he goes out the tent as Lillith rewraps the two old ancient Valerian artifacts that are to be used against the evil Vizier, Valdar. In Sunpear, everything is kind of in a hustle and bustle because word has now gotten to Daemon Sam, and he's already informed others to get the Queen ready for travel. Dalton, of course, has a scroll about where he's moving to, whereas Daemon Sam has other news that's going on in the Seven Kingdoms. I'm sorry, but you can't go in there. But I have some important news. Well, you're just going to have to wait. So he opens the door anyway. Oh, sorry. In or out? Forgive me, Your Grace. I told you. Could you make sure she gets this? Fine. So, as she continues getting ready, I thought men were supposed to be polite and not just barge in. Well, they're supposed to, but then they haven't had a queen in for the longest time. Yes, you may come in. It looks like everybody wants to come in. I'm trying to get dressed here. Well, you gonna come in? Oh, I had important news, Your Grace. Well, you might as well close the door. Might as well just finish getting dressed. Besides, Damon, I know how you love my big breasts and nipples, and if we were by ourselves, like when my father was alive, I'd lay across my lap and I'd breastfeed you both my heavy laden breasts. I know how you like to suck them. Well, I'm sorry. I guess we must have made him a little bit three shade blushing. Well, I figured you might want to have this kind of discussion between you and Damon by yourself. That's okay. I don't see why a handmaid helping me get dressed should hear anything different. Don't you think she's beautiful too? You can speak freely. Well, yes, she has beautiful breasts, even though yours are bigger than hers. Well, thank you a lot, Damon. You know, you should be careful. We might want to just strip the clothes off you when we both share you. Well, we might have to postpone that idea. Alright, what is it you gotta tell? So she gets her dress on. Apparently, Aegon VI Targaryen has been seen on the move. The only thing that was notable is that there's banners with a golden dragon and a banner with a three-headed dragon, but not all red. One is red head, orange head, and I believe yellow head, which is almost similar to an old Targaryen prince, except I think when he hit the heads on that Targaryen banner was green. But in any case, they are on the move, and then we lost track of them since they went down the mountainside towards the narrow sea, and nobody's seen where they went since. I see. Well, didn't you want to have a discussion with him, since you are looking for a paramour? Yes. You know, if it were possible, I would have you as my king. My father isn't here, and as I am a queen, I believe that I should be able to choose just like any Targaryen queen would be allowed to choose. Well, you can, Your Grace. But there's that one little flaw. No offense, but you're a bastard. Well, thank you, Your Grace. I try to live up to my standards. Sorry, Your Grace. That will be all. Well, I guess even that comment would make my handmaiden kind of find that humorous. Not that you're supposed to take pride in that. Well, we're going to gather everyone together and start marching out then towards the direction of the Reach. Although I'm not sure how long it'll take us to get there, but since he's about a day's travel ahead of us, it will take some time. Your Grace? Yes. Dalton, who barged in, and, well, hi, Damon. Yes. Uh, how you doing? So, as I can see, you're having a bit of trouble trying to get dressed in privacy. As always, of course. So, what is it that Dalton wanted that he had to barge in? Well, apparently there's some other things going on in the realm of kingdoms. Apparently there's been some kind of formation going on in Winterfell. And then there's been some heavy activity in Dragonstone. And there seems to be an unusual movement of unknown origin coming from way beyond Winterfell. That has already had reports of decimated and sacked small houses, but nothing major, of the main houses. Interesting. Well, we better have then our Dalton's friend, his brother, get some Martell soldiers just in case. We don't intend to march an army, but be best that we not get caught off guard and get ambushed. I agree. So with that, they get themselves ready and start heading out towards the Reach, which coincidentally, Aegon VI is already, being a day ahead, preparing for battle. So they will be a day behind after the battle's end. In this scene, everyone arrives at a secret temple that has been kept hidden from the faith of the Seven since there was a crusade war against the Targaryen beliefs from long ago. It takes place at the Holy Temple, Temple of Spiritual Nature Faith. Sometimes, the Holy Temple of Spiritual Nature Faith is sometimes referred to as the Temple of Healing and Commitment of Faith. By comparison to planet Earth, it would be the human version of Wicca faith. Greetings, everyone. I am Daenerys II Targaryen, named at birth after the famous Dany the Dreamer, who prophesied of the ancient Valerian doom, and thus is credited with leading her father and Targaryen host, who would listen to reason, to a place of safety 12 years before the Valerian doom had occurred so long, long ago. May I ask, what is this temple, and why is it never seen except by us now? This is a holy temple by ancient Targaryen beliefs, that there is only one god of nature who rules the spirit world in the afterlife. The lower gods, or in this case goddesses, are the judges whom one must face after the spirit flame finally is extinguished. The lower gods are two goddesses, actually, and guardians to the gate of the spirit world of paradise. The fire goddess judges men, and if a man should lie when questioned, the ice goddess punishes all corrupt and sinful men. Likewise, the ice goddess judges all women, and if any woman should lie when questioned, then the fire goddess punishes all sinful and deceitful or evil women to the same 7 hells that the men are sent to for all eternity. I see. And so this belief is why you have been hiding for so long? Not quite. You see, this temple is the holy temple of the spiritual nature faith. Some may call it the temple of healing and faith commitment. Others, well, not so much nice names. But we used to believe that there was no shame in sexual orgies, for it is by many sexual desires and procreation that life begins. But in time, corruption tainted our beliefs, so that was changed. It was also a belief that a man's wife could have sex with 2 or more other husbands and bear those husbands children as much as they would allow their husband to impregnate other men's wives so that they could have children, and then there was no shame because they stayed committed to each other and had their own children as well. But that too was changed and abolished due to sinful lust and corruption of natural procreation rituals. Now this temple only support a man to have anywhere from 5 to 7 or 11 wives, or as many as he thinks he can support. But if he lies and can't support all the wives he marries, he is judged for lust, greed, deception, and leading women astray. Then he has to face the fire and ice goddess in the afterlife. And we do not believe there is any shame with a woman sharing her husband with 2 or more women and giving them the blessing of her husband's seed so they can be mothers of babies born. Sex is a natural a desire and sensation as being nude all day and night if one should choose to exercise the right to not being ashamed of nudity. A man is not judged by the size of his pole and 2 stones, no more than a woman is judged by her breasts and how big or small they are. We don't allow lustful, cruel judgments like that if one is born of our faith. We believe love comes in all shapes, sizes, and colors, and that love comes from the heart, or there is no love at all. Do you understand now? I think so. You asked why we've been hidden for so long. I shall tell you. Back in the time of King Robert the First Targaryen, though never revealed in the realm of kingdom's annals, the faith of the Seven condemned us as evil, lustful heretics, guilty of heresy, witchcraft, and promiscuous sexual relations that they considered an abomination. Since King Robert I Baratheon went to war against King Aerys II Targaryen, your Queen Daenerys Stormborn Targaryen's father, the faith of the Seven did not get approval by the soon-coming king, Robert I Targaryen. So they took it upon themselves to go on a crusade, and the last High Septon, who wore a crystal crown, led the faith militia, before years later they were reformed as the Faith Militants, of which you, Queen Marjorie, should remember them as. The Faith Militia Crusaders raped the women, priestesses, burned them at the stake, and tortured us for long periods of time. We used to have at least 7 temples like the one you see here. Ours continued from the ancient temple in old ancient Valeria Free City. This is the last temple standing. Priestesses were allowed to marry priests and have babies of their own, and it was also an old practice for a queen to share her husband with a priestess, the high priestess, and a threesome or foursome, group sex of 5 women, or up to an orgy of holy procreation, usually not more than 11 women, counting the queen. That too was abolished and never to be practiced again. Times changed, and we realized the practices of old are no longer a practice we could continue, both because of the faith of the Seven, and to continue our existence of our faith. Eventually, however, a warrior guardian of our faith militants, women warriors, known as Rhaenys the Red, took a spear and with all her might struck the bastard in the chest with a spear, running him through and flying backwards off his horse. He was dead before he even hit the ground, and the crown, the crystal crown, was lost in that battle at the older, smaller temple of Essos, and never seen again. So, after the Septon was killed, the faith of the 7 militia crusaders fled into exile, and feared that if King Robert I Baratheon heard how they acted without his approval, they would also be put to death. So the assistant then became the Septon at the old great Septa Baelor before the evil Queen Cersei had it destroyed by wildfire. I am a Targaryen, and my mother and father were butchered, raped, and murdered by the faith of the 7 Crusaders. So we took to hiding, and were only seen if we chose to be seen, and only if we knew those who wished to see us could be trusted, not as a spy, but one of purity and innocence, to seeking us out and not hunting us down like dogs. I think I understand now. While I am no longer a believer in their faith, since they intended to keep me even till death, after the evil Queen Cersei destroyed the great Sept of Baelor. That is good. We don't deal with spies, and they are dealt with the same way they dealt with us, except it is the women who rape the men, castrating them and chopping off their cocks, so they cannot pollute our world any further. They die a long, horrible death. And women spies are impregnated with vipers who go within, fill them with poison, and leave her body after she dies. That is her just punishment, if she is a spy. We have never had the reason to exercise such death penalty of torture to the man or woman who would be discovered as a spy, and hopefully it never will come to that. Queen Marjorie has a shocked, almost worried look on her face. But since you are a good queen, trustful, truthful, and honest, you are. Therefore you have nothing to worry or fear here. I sense no treachery within you. Marjorie lets out a sigh of relief, with Daenerys looking at her with a serious smile. Now that we have gotten to know each other, you all must have had a long journey. It is important that I find out who it is to be the one to renew their vows, confirming their confessions of their sins, and ready for reclamation, which follows reconciliation. I am Daenerys Stormborn Targaryen, the breaker of chains and the unburned. And who represents you? I am High Priest Lord Damien of the Fire and Blood Secret Society Temple. I have taken the responsibility. This is Bloodlord Cag and Priest Lord Dark Shadow. On conversing with the High Priestess of R'hllor, the Temple of the Lord of Light, to raising Daenerys back to life, as she was betrayed and died before it was her time. And is this true? It is. I am Priestess Kinvara, from the Temple of R'hllor, the Lord of Light. Well, we appreciate the effort you put in. Know this. First off, in respect, though, my High Priestess also has gift of foresight and hindsight as much as you do, High Priest Lord Damien. This temple is not for you because of your beliefs and practices. This is a holy temple. You will have to wait here. I understand. He then takes Cag and Priest Lord Darkshadow to the waiting area. Everyone else then follows Jaime's second Targaryen up the long steps. And as for you, are you the one who has decided to represent Queen Daenerys? I am, for it was decided that upon passing the knowledge test, she seems to have all her memories intact, and she has confessed her sins, knowing that a true queen learns from her mistakes and to never repeat them again, and by confessing her sins, shows that she is a true queen reborn with wisdom. Very good. Well, the High Priestess of this temple will be very pleased to hear that Daenerys has progressed so very well, even though she has been dead for 3 years. Daenerys looks a bit bewildered, perturbed by that comment, but says nothing in response, then raises her hand up. Yet I know I am alive again. You, however, unfortunately will not. Hold a moment. I believe she can attend. In enters the High Priestess, Waynonna. As long as she does not say anything that is sacrilegious in our temple. Do you agree to remain silent when we go through our rituals? I do. She then looks over at Queen Daenerys. Are you, or are you not, a friend of Queen Daenerys? Then looks at Queen Marjorie. Actually, yes, we became friends not too long ago. Very well, then. You, points at Queen Marjorie, will represent Queen Daenerys. And when the time is right, I will ask who represents her, and you will respond. Do you understand? I think so. It is okay that you are not Targaryen. You are a friend. That is all that matters. And you are not concerned with any other religious faction, nor connected to them. So therefore, that makes you neutral, Queen Marjorie of House Tyrell. And congratulations on having a baby boy. How did you know? Sees High Priestess looking at her. Oh, right, I forgot. You're the High Priestess who must have the gift of hindsight and foresight. Sorry. That's okay. We do have extra senses, most than what other people would have here, because it is our destiny to uphold the true Targaryen religion, one god, and the under-goddesses of the spirit world. Not like the heretics, the faith of the seven, especially them. This is the most amazing temple in its splendor I have ever seen, for I have seen nothing this splendid, even as a young Targaryen girl. I am the temple maiden with assisting maids, Queen Daenerys Targaryen. You will follow us. We will prepare you for the first ritual of baptism of reconciliation. Queen Daenerys then bows in agreement, then looks at Queen Marjorie. I shall return. Then starts to follow the temple maiden, Sherry. Good luck. Daenerys looks back with a smile and shakes her head, then continues on to dressing room. In the next scene, the rest of the group is led to a large area with a huge baptismal pool of tranquil, light blue waters. The female maidens in training begin singing for the preparation of the ritual. Special effects may be needed at this time. We now come together in harmony to recognize Daenerys Stormborn Targaryen, once slain, now risen from the dead, have gone too soon and has now come back. So let this ritual now begin with no interruption or interference. The next person that steps up is the priestess of baptism for reconciliation. Let the record show that Queen Daenerys, who freely admits to making an error in judgment and what they should have done, thus showing their newborn wisdom, to which makes them a true queen, when they confess and learn from their mistakes, and swear to never make the same mistake twice. Thus the confessed queen of House Targaryen has earned the right to baptism of reconciliation. So let it be. And everyone says the same, so let it be. Then she faces Daenerys Targaryen, who is now in the nude, and steps into this big, huge pool of water. Daenerys, as you are a mother of new dragons, a mother of dragons who has 3 dragons, so shall you be dipped completely by 3. Do you accept this? I do. And so with that, she has completely submerged 3 times. It is done. So, let us now prepare for the cleansing of the spirit, and let this record show that by reconciliation, no one has the right to bring up your past. For if they do, then you have the right to have our temple stand in your defense, and they shall be judged according to their works, and convicted by their own faith, as well as ours. So everyone applauds, and now it goes into the second part. After the musical scene of the great support and accomplishment Queen Daenerys has made in her reconciliation renewal of vows as a Targaryen, and thus removing any tarnishment against the House of Targaryen, the next part she prepares for is the Reclamation. Though it will not be the original Iron Throne of Swords, this will be a brand new Iron Throne of Swords, more elaborate and royal looking, though not as high in value because of the history that the one was before Drogon had melted it since the time of Aegon the Conqueror. The mid-baptismal scene then shows that during the choir singing, both the baptismal priestess and spiritual healing priestess join Daenerys on both sides while she stands waist deep in the waters, nude. They each place a hand gently on her head and on her shoulders. The high priestess puts her hands together, looking up at the skylight that shines light through during doing a quiet ritualistic Targaryen prayer of blessing. When the choir is nearly done, both baptismal priestess exit the pool and the spiritual healing priestess prepares the dark blue holy waters of spiritual healing. At this time, can anyone confirm, after having Queen Daenerys being baptized of reconciliation, a claim made by the baptized queen to the Iron Throne of Swords, for which I understand is the new Iron Throne of Swords, for reclamation, since the one baptized has reconciled their mistakes by confession? If someone can confirm that the one baptized is the true queen with rightful claim to the Iron Throne of Swords, the new Iron Throne of Swords, from what I understand, then the next priestess will be called forth to do the reclamation ritual, where the Targaryen soul is rebaptized with special blue holy waters. Daenerys then turns and looks over towards Queen Marjorie. I will confirm it as her friend of House Tyrell. Very well then. Let the Reclamation Priestess step forward and perform the ritual of the Holy Spiritual Purification Ritual. And so then the other priestess of spiritual purification then steps forward. She pours a dark blue water in a pitcher and fills it about half full, and then enters a ritual prayer of blessing over it. Then she then walks over into the pool towards Daenerys. Upon your friend, Queen Marjorie Tyrell of House Tyrell, having not only being your new friend, but has taken the responsibility of claiming that you have acknowledged, and after such, being baptized in reconciliation of the mistakes you made when you attacked King's Landing because of the death of your friend Missandei, and having learned from the mistake not to repeat it, and therefore it can never be brought up against you again. Now is the time for you to reclaim your rights to not having any tarnishment against the name Targaryen or the House Targaryen, and to take your rightful claim for that which is rightfully yours, as it should have been since the time of your father, King Aerys II. Do you accept the purification at this time. I do. If you have to pee, not to be embarrassing you, Queen Daenerys, it is okay, for the water which flows from you into the pool is nothing to be ashamed. As you already know, Targaryen traditions is, there is no shame in nudity, never has been, and never will be. So, if you have to pee, just pee while you drink. Do you understand? Daenerys feeling slightly flushed, but accepts this. Yes, I understand. Very well then. You will lay back in my arms, and as need be, we'll take a break until you drink the whole pitcher. And so, then it begins. She drinks quite a few swallows, and then is brought back up. And then nods her head again, is laid back, and more is poured into her mouth, and she drinks a second time. Then stands back up. The Queen Marjorie's like, wow, she got to drink all that? Shh, no talking. Oh, sorry. Laid back again, and then finishes off the pitcher, and then is finally brought back up a final time. The pitcher then is set aside. At this time, should the purification of the soul have worked, everyone shall see the return of the glow, which is a natural sign in a Targaryen's eyes, being a bit brighter with violet sparkle, even if but for a moment. Most of the time this will happen as a result of drinking the special blue waters. Never in all of Targaryen history has this reaction of the eyes failed. Thus, after the desired effect of the eyes have been seen by the priestess, and she looks towards the priestess and she acknowledges Daenerys' eyes being a slight violet glow, she can now make her rightful announcement to the rightful claim, which is now confirmed, and the ritual of reclamation is hereby done. Therefore, at this time, we shall all gather at the dragon gazebo, where she will be dressed, crowned, and presented her warrior queen sword. Let us all go forward into the final destination of the great dragon gazebo of honor. And so with that, then it goes into the final area where everyone slowly walks out of the pool room to the gazebo area. In this next part now, the high priestess of Targaryen faith is escorted by her crusade guardians, as is the tradition, to give protection, not that anyone should be dumb enough to spy, and walks on ahead to what is called the Dragon Gazebo, the final part of the ritual, which is a long walk from the main part of the temple to the back area. The Dragon Gazebo scene then shows Daenerys walks the distance in the nude to the destination of honor. The crowd follows last, behind the Holy Targaryen guards, who follow the High Priestess. The temple handmaiden publicly dresses Queen Daenerys in a splendid gift of her accomplishments, a beautiful, long, white, and gold-trimmed gown, and Daenerys steps into golden sandals that are placed in front of her, and a golden sash tied about her waist, with a short white cape trimmed in gold placed around her shoulders also. This, of course, would be the closing scene, the scene that is now the closing of the ritual. Queen Daenerys, once slain, now risen from the dead, as a reborn warrior queen. Once again, during this musical scene of the long walk in nudity from the main temple to the dragon gazebo, it is then announced, while she is being dressed in all-white gown trimmed in gold and given golden sandals for her feet. Again, she will get a white cape trimmed in gold to cover over her shoulders. The high priestess then looks over the scroll of the Holy Temple records of Queen Daenerys' reconciliation and reclamation for approval, then hands the scroll back to the maiden for records library. The waters of reconciliation has washed away that of the past, and thus by the laws of the fire and ice gods and all men, the past is the past. It shall never be brought up again for all time. If someone does bring up the past to usurp the claimant, the crusader militants of House Targaryen will come to her aid in defense. Then she looks over at Queen Daenerys straight in the eyes, then smiles and turns back to the crowd. Queen Daenerys' claim is strong, for her eyes for the Reclamation purification and reconciliation baptism has revealed this. Behold, the return of the Dragon Queen stands before you. Let it be known from here on out, and through the dawn of many generations and ages to come, I present to you Queen Daenerys Stormborn Targaryen of the Rhoynar and the Annals, the descendant from the generations of House Targaryen, since Aegon the Conqueror, daughter of former King Aenys II Targaryen, sister to former Prince Rhaegar Targaryen and former Prince Viserys II Targaryen, the great Khaleesi, a former husband King Khal of the Dothraki Sea, the unburnt Queen of Meereen of Essos, the breaker of chains, defender of the realm, for the great White Walker War, once slain to betrayal of death, now risen and reborn of new life, trained as a warrior queen, with 3 new dragons she bears, and rightful claim to the new Iron Throne of Swords, and soon to be the ruler of the realm of kingdoms of all Westeros, mother to Princess Janie's Targaryen. Let all who love her bend the knee, swearing their loyalty and oath to the return of your queen. Everyone in the Holy Temple, Dragon Gazebo, bends the knee. High Priestess Winona then picks up a crown. This here is the crown for which she now will wear. The High Priestess then places the crown on Queen Daenerys' head. The 3-headed dragon emblem, now in gold, signifies she is reborn from death. Then she picks up a Valerian Steel Sword, intricately made with rubies, and has the standard 3-headed dragon medallion attached by a golden chain from a table, and faces Queen Daenerys. Queen Daenerys, as you have learned swordsmanship, and thus it has been confirmed, you are the first to bear a true Valerian Steel Sword as a warrior queen. Have you a name for this sword? Yes. The name of my sword shall be Queen's Justice. So shall it be. Then the High Priestess Winona fastens the sword around Queen Daenerys' waist. Behold your queen, ladies and gentlemen. Let no one speak ill of her or betray her under penalty of death. Queen Daenerys then steps forward, looking out over those swearing fealty to her, who draw their swords and set them horizontally in front of them on the marble floor. And so it then goes into a musical scene to honor Queen Daenerys, risen from the dead, and soon to be the return of the Dragon Queen. All rise. Everyone stands and sheaths their swords. Let the record show that by bending the knee and placing the swords in front of you, for those of men, you have made your oaths, and you cannot lie before the gods. Then turns and faces Queen Daenerys. Queen Daenerys, it is time for you to mount your new dragon Rhaenragon, the great white she-dragon. Fly and fear nothing, for you are reborn. Show the world you have returned, and all guests here shall meet you at Dragonstone. In the next final scene, Queen Daenerys Targaryen, proud with head held high and big smile, first approaches Daenerys, the red dragon. After petting his scaly nose, he flies off. Next, the green dragon, or the red dragon, is followed by Rhaenragon, the green dragon. Then, proudly, Queen Daenerys mounts her white she-dragon, Rhaenragon, and in a short amount of time, suddenly flies off. In the final part of this scene, Queen Daenerys is in flight at long last on her new, even bigger, all-white she-dragon. Some special effects will be needed. As an extra challenge, for all Game of Thrones fans. Look closely and see if you could see Daenerys on her new white she-dragon, Rhaenragon. It is finished. Thank you all for visiting us and having made your oaths to the return of your queen. As we and our temple shall celebrate her rebirth, so shall you meet Daenerys, your queen, at Dragonstone for your traditions and rituals of feasting of the return of the Dragon Queen. Then she departs everyone, with the Crusade militants as her guards, back to main temple to prepare for their celebrations. In the scene, then, everyone else goes from Dragon Gazebo into the main Holy Temple, where they meet up with High Priest Lord Damien. And he just simply asks, "It is finished?" It is. She is now a warrior queen, and the return of the Dragon Queen soon shall be established, once we have Iron Islands deliver the new Iron Throne of Swords for the Realm of Kingdom, and the three-eyed raven appointed elected king will have no choice but to step down or face the ultimate destruction. I don't think he's going to choose the latter, because he seems to be one of peace, not one of bloodshed. Very good, then. Seems that everything is coming to place as it should be. So then, with that, they are met by the priestess, who greeted them when the ritual was to first commence. Thank you all for coming. If there be any trouble, although I would imagine that Queen Daenerys would reach out to us, those who she trusts, you all bent the knee and shown that you are trustworthy, shall inform us, and we will come to her aid. Everyone bows before her, then takes their leave from the Holy Targaryen Temple, and the scene fades out. In the city of Braavos, though it has not had much concern or of any interest, there is a place, once again, known as the House of Black and White. As is usual tradition, Jaqen H'ghar is assisting someone at this pool where he gives someone a drink just before and at the time that they're ready to surrender their life by spirit. As the person finishes and they are getting ready to walk off, he suddenly feels this sensation in his chest. At first, he thinks it's just in something maybe possibly coming over him, but it's not something that a many-faced god would actually feel. So he pays it no mind, then goes into the other chamber to take care of someone who is deceased. Is there something wrong? No, it is nothing. So he continues, taking and preparing this body for their proper burial. Then, without warning, he grabs his chest, and he finds this strange because this is something that only someone who is mortal, not immortal, would do. Are you sure? You look like you're not feeling well. Then he turns to her. Why a woman with many questions? Well, I was just concerned. Concern is good, but misplaced. Then, with his back towards her so she don't see what he's doing, he pulls out this jewel that he has not pulled out ever, and it seems to be glowing a bluish color. I have not seen this since the time of old. And he wonders, I'm leaving you in charge, and he turns and faces her. I'm sorry, what? You're leaving me in charge? Yes, did I stutter? No. Good. There is something I must attend to immediately. You will lead the others, as I have taught you, until such time I return, or until such time that Arya Stark returns from her explorations. This is something that I can only do alone. You will stay. I understand. And so with that, he goes outside, looks at the jewel one more time, and then with determination knows where the sensation and the glowing jewel is taking him. So thus he is now in search for a long-lost sister, one who was banished long ago when his beloved was killed and betrayed by his sister and one known as the Vizier, Lillith.